I was up until about 6 a.m. last night, or this morning rather, getting screen caps for Narnia Web. And so I have had the chance to go through the first Dawn Treader trailer, frame by frame, and really analyze it. And I'm realizing more and more the importance of doing that, because ultimately it's a good movie we want. We don't care if it's a good trailer. And this is definitely, I think, a terrible trailer in just about every way. I have very few positive things to say about this trailer as a piece of marketing. But ultimately, it's the movie we care about. So it's very important to look at the shots in isolation as much as possible and just say, what does this tell us about the movie? What does this tell us about the story? And even then, there's still a few really discouraging things in this trailer. But it is important to do that. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to walk through the trailer pretty much shot by shot, and we'll see what we can learn about the story. Yes, it's a terrible trailer, but I'm really going to try to focus on what we can get. What does this tell us about the story as much as possible? So let's go. And there's the MPAA screen. Until about a year or so ago, it said this preview has been approved for all audiences. Now they changed it to appropriate audiences. Not sure what the reason for that is, but just thought I'd point that out. Now that's overanalyzing. Even I'll admit that. And here we go. This is a pretty endless now.
Why, do I look older?
You do look older, actually, from the last one.
You're supposed to be helping me with the groceries.
Oh, poor Edmund.
Next time, eh, Squirt?
Squirt? I'm a king.
Okay, so here's the first issue. We cut to it pretty quickly here. We have Edmund struggling with, I used to be a king and now I'm a kid. Exactly what Peter was going through in Prince Caspian. I remember it was several months actually, before the movie came out. I think there was a production blog where the writers, Marcus and McFeely, the screenwriters, were talking about how they had this whole idea of what would it be like to be a king for so long and go back to being a kid. Never liked the idea, even when it was described to me. The Prince Caspian movie, I really didn't like that. I just think Lewis, it wasn't really relevant to what the story was about, I thought. And Lewis tended to not go into practical details like that. Like, well, what would it actually be like to go back and forth? This is not important, I think. So I never really liked the idea of it. And also, they've done this in Prince Caspian. Now it seems like they're doing it again with Edmund. It's like, okay, we get it. It sucks going back to our world when you've been in Narnia for so long. And I don't know. I just hope we don't see another. I mean, I don't think we're going to see him being a jerk like the whole time like Peter was. I don't think it'll be almost unwatchable like it was with Peter. But it seems like they're repeating themselves. It's obvious. I never really liked the idea in the first place. Also, I'll just say, apparently they are going to have a scene where they're helping with the groceries, which was a scene in the infamous leaked script, which had so many incredible atrocities. I was never that scared about the leaked script, and they obviously said it was just experimental and everything. But it did kind of touch a nerve when I saw that. Like, when the first thing you see in the trailer is something from the leaked script.
Not in this world.
There's a new Fox logo and a new Walden logo.
Lucy, have you seen this
And
ship
the
before?
picture's going to come to life here. Inevitably, it's going to look like Harry Potter, I think. There's Will Poulter as Eustace. Nice to see him. He's freaking out. I like the crazy handheld camera work here. And the room floods. Really cool shot there. The transition is always, seems like it's a difficult thing to do with these movies. Lewis is really good at it, I think, at being kind of vague about it, but giving you just enough detail to kind of see it in your head. With Prince Caspian, actually, they had next to nothing to work with. The filmmakers did. It just the train station vanishes and they were in Narnia. That's pretty much all the description Lewis gives us. Here we get something a little more concrete, where it's like we know they get sucked into the picture and they actually shrink, is what the book suggests. And there's actually a comical moment where Eustace is freaking out, standing on the picture frame. I think we're not going to see that. I think they've kind of reimagined this. And if I'm going to nitpick here, it seems to me that this is kind of described in a production blog on the Facebook page some time ago. But it seems to me that they don't so much get sucked into the picture as the picture floods water into the room, and then that causes them to get transported to Narnia. I think they swim out the windows, and when they surface, they're in Narnia. So I think it's not exactly like the book, and we won't get the coolness of actually getting sucked into the picture, but this could be a really cool transition. And there she is, the Dawn Treader, and we're going to pan up here to see the iconic dragon prow. And I was always defending the dragon prow, even though there was, people were kind of divided on it on the forum, at least. Some people hated it, some people really liked it. I was one of those people that really liked the design of it. I think it looks mythical, like something you've seen drawn on a wall or something. I just think it looks spectacular. Not what I imagined. Looks better than what I imagined. The main thing here is, the main criticism a lot of people were making of it, it looks so plasticky and fake, and I was saying, never mind that, just focus on the design for now, because it's going to look better in the movie. It's not made to look good on amateur, spy photographers' pictures, it's made to look good in a movie. And now I see this, and I gotta admit, it does look pretty cheapo and fakey, like just about everything else in this trailer, I think. Um, so I don't know. Maybe when we see the movie on the big screen, it'll be differently. But right now, although I still love the design of the Dawn Treader, I love the purple sail, I love the emblems on there and everything. I love the design of the dragon prow, especially. It does look kind of cheapo and plasticky. There's Caspian coming up with Lucy, and now we're going to see Lucy. Looks like that's definitely not. I don't think Aslan's on board the ship. It's just that she's reflected in the mirror, and she's going to talk to him somehow. This is probably the ship, I suppose. But pretty good CGI in Aslan, I'll say. And also, what we have is that this idea that's kind of been being hinted at from the production that they want to have more of a reason for why they came to Narnia. Now, why do they come to Narnia in the books? Well, Aslan explains it at the end that by knowing me for a little here, you might know me better there. This is a personal journey. There's personal reasons for them. It's for their benefit that they're coming to Narnia, not necessarily Narnia's benefit, although Narnia can benefit too. And although we'll say this trailer does seem to be pretty true to the idea that, there are personal issues they have to work out, but they're also adding this layer, oh no, but there's a reason Narnia needs them. Even though there's not a time of war, they're going to say in the trailer here, which that's a relief, I guess. But no, we have to save Narnia from something. I'll talk more about that later, but I just don't like the idea of them having to save Narnia from something. It misses the point. Really good CGI in Aslan here.
You have come far.
Love this shot here. I just think this looks so much like how I imagine what a Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie would look like. So I wish I could frame this and hang it up. I think this looks really great, just like something out of my imagination and what a Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie would look like.
But your journey lies beyond.
There's a really terrible looking CG Minotaur. I'll talk more later about one of the big issues of how many creatures are going to be on board the ship. But I'm just confused about why is this Minotaur CG? And again, this is probably a good place to talk about how I think most, if not all, of the visual effects in this movie are unfinished. I actually think Fox, for that reason, would have been better off just releasing kind of a couple teasing shots of the Dawn Treader, have Aslan roar, and have that be it, because it looks like they were not ready to show a trailer like this. The effects in the first line of the Witch the Wardrobe trailer also look terrible. Remember, Aslan roaring at the end looked awful. Just made me cringe. So you have to kind of give them a pass on the visual effects for now. But why is this Minotaur completely CGI? I don't understand. We know they're still doing the suits. Shane Rangi's in the movie playing a Minotaur again. So this shot is kind of, I don't know what's going on. And Reepicheep's introduction. And first off, this is obviously a really important moment because it's a really memorable introduction. It was really when I read that introduction for the first time I knew that Reepicheep was one of my favorite characters. It's not anything cool that he does. It's just the way Lewis writes it, slowly describes every detail, and then says he was Reepicheep. He'd won undying in glory in the Second Battle of Baruna. And it's also one of my favorite illustrations is this one here of Reepicheep being introduced again. It's one of my favorite Pauline Baines illustrations. When I close my eyes and think of Reepicheep, I think of this moment here when he was introduced. And so I hope they come up with a really memorable introduction for him. And I promised I wouldn't talk about this as, just a piece of marketing too much. I want to focus on the story. But just as a piece of marketing, it would have been a much more important plot point to show them being reunited with Caspian. Being reunited with Reepicheep is not that important of a plot point, even though he's a very important character. But why did they show him saying Reepicheeps? Because they want you to know that Reepicheep is going to be in this movie. They really want to emphasize the Reepicheepness of this movie because he's one of the few things that everyone liked about Prince Caspian. So, I thought they would do this. They would have a ton of Reepicheep in the trailer. We can expect to see. He's on the freaking logo on the poster. We can expect to see a lot of Reepicheep. I hope they understand. Obviously, Fox and Walden, two different things. Fox is marketing the movie. Walden is actually making the movie. I just hope that Walden understands, even if Fox doesn't, that Reepicheep is not just a cute gag you remember from Prince Caspian. That he's actually a really important character. He's not the star, but he's the heart and soul of the movie at the same time, or of the book at least. There's Lucy waving. Isn't that cute? Casting with a beard. Why are you here? I'd love to find out, actually. And there's Koryakin unrolling some kind of magical scroll or something, using the Force or whatever. First off, Koryakin doesn't have that long beard that's described in the book. Kind of okay with that. Just in fantasy, it's so common, to have characters with long beards. Like, oh, let's do something different. But the main thing here is this looks so 3D gimmicky to have it come straight at you at the screen. And that could really be a distraction from the story. As long as you don't focus on, look how 3D this is, and stuff flying at you, 3D can work for the story.
About to be tested.